Welcome to the Fit Your Brand Masterclass. I'm so pumped for today. We have my ruler for you today, and what I hope you guys walk away with is 30 years worth of knowledge in 3 hours. And I know that is a tall glass to deliver, but I'm going to do my best to deliver on that. I've been in the fitness industry for the last 2 decades. The last decade has been more working with other personal trainers and fitness professionals, helping them build a brand. But fitness has always been a part of my life. I love it. I still love it till this day. And so today we're going to be talking about fitting your brand. And we're going to be talking about how a lot of these things that we talk about can also be applied in your business. And I thought since it's fit your brand, I would fit with something more comfortable. It's hot as shit here in Arizona today. I have my top in the body shop, so we had to drive around all around town with the top off. So I was sweating my ass off earlier. So we got a nice little sauna out in the sun today. But I'm super excited to be here, and I know you guys are going to walk away with a lot of stuff. But before we get started, I just wanted to see, what were you wanting to walk away with? What were some things that you were wanting to learn? So if you can, drop it below in the chat. Okay. What were some things you were wanting to learn today, or what are some of the questions that you wanted to have answered? Okay. And I want this to be interactive. I know that sometimes on Zoom, it's very easy to get distracted, and it's very easy to, get off topic and everything with what you're doing. But my challenge for you is to stay connected, have a piece of paper in front of you. A lot of the people that are going to be watching this are going to be watching it on replay. So if you're watching on replay right now, same thing. Okay. Lock yourself in the room if you need to. Put everything aside so that way you can be focused, because I guarantee whatever else is going on is not going to be worth as much money as I'm about to present here today. And I guarantee that what Drew Manning is going to deliver is also going to be worth it. So what were you wanting to walk away with today? Okay, so drop it below in the chat. Or if you want, speak out loud of what you really want to walk away from here today. Okay, and I'll speak on behalf of some people. What they're wanting to walk away with is, how do I make this fitness thing a lot easier? Okay, how do I eat? What's the proper way to eat for my body? What are some tips and tricks? So I think that's mostly what people are walking away with, we're wanting to walk away with today. But I can tell you this, you're going to walk away with way more than just that. Okay. All right. The framework to get and stay in great shape. Love it. Okay.
I was gonna throw one in too. For me, is my audio working?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry. For me, one of the biggest things I think of is, so I'm somebody who was an athlete growing up for a number of years, and I was used to being explosive and training really hard for a number of years and for many hours of a week. How do you find that same routine as you get older when the demand isn't as required because of what you have to do? And how do you get that consistency? Because I've never been a gym rat. I'm not excited about doing those things. Not that I'm against guys who are, but like, I'm looking for something that's like exciting to do, that drives me to doing it more consistently. So I would say picking up that energy again, finding the passion for it, and doing it in a way that makes me feel like I'm driving towards something, but it's not like just to go to the gym. I need the consistency as if I were, but yeah, that's the thing, if that makes sense.
Okay. Love it. Okay. Justin, anything specific you were wanting to walk away with from today?
I've been on a fitness journey for about 2.5 years, so I'm willing to pull in whatever wealth of knowledge you have towards this. I'm excited for it.
Okay, love it. I've been following Justin. I was seeing a selfie picture every single day of the gym. What happened to those selfies, Justin?
They'll come back. I'm in the process of bringing those back.
Yeah, and I love what you said about him. Hey, that's for me for being accountable. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Before we get started, I want to show you some really cool stuff. You know, the body is the mind. So I feel like I want to be fully genuine and authentic with you guys if I didn't start teaching you guys some of these exercises right here. So the first one is I just want you to stand up. Okay. If you can, I want you to stand up. And this one's going to essentially start to unlock your central nervous system. Okay. And so essentially, you're just going to vibrate your body and just hobble up and down. And it's going to get faster and faster. So you're pretending like your feet are plugged into the earth, right? Like a plug. So you're going to plug your feet into the earth. Okay. Really push your feet down. Okay. And then you're just going to vibrate. Just going to vibrate your entire body. Like the earth is transferring all this electricity current into your body. Okay. If you look at the body and you look at a tree, okay, you're like, man, how are they any different? A tree has this root system and then it comes up and branches out, right? When you look at the body, it's the same thing. It looks like this giant root around here and then it comes up and extends throughout the body. Okay, so getting that central nervous system to fire, right, is really going to help get all the muscles activated. So I come here. Okay, I do this especially during leg day, getting my legs to ground. I did this morning. I probably look a little weird, but I just sit here and I try to shake as fast as I can. This is probably one of the most important exercises I'm going to teach my son. Garrick, this is going to be like, for those who have kids, getting the central nervous system to fire, because the central nervous system is what fires the muscle. Okay. All right. In the morning, when I wake up too, I'll shake it out. Okay. I'll get the body. Sometimes we don't realize we're so tense in our body. Okay. Jaw, body. Okay. Shake it out. All right, we don't realize how tense our body is on a day-to-day basis. Okay, shaking it off, especially when something that angers you or upsets you. Okay, shaking it out can be really important for you. Have you ever heard that? Hey, shake it off. Like, that's not just a saying, that's literally like a literal thing. Like, hey, shake it off. Okay. And then the last thing I want to show you guys real quick. Okay, Josh, we're not done, brother. We're not done. This one is going to start to open up the front. A lot of our front muscles are tight. Okay. And they're getting tighter on a daily basis because what are we doing? We're doing this all day. So you're going to get your feet shoulder width apart. Hands are going to be right here. And then you're going to slightly bend your knees. And then you're just going to roll back. And then you're breathing all into the stomach. All right, so that starts to open everything up. So let me see you do again, Josh. Josh, I want to kind of coach you through it. So if you guys watch Josh, okay, Josh, I want to see you do this real quick. Okay, and I will kind of want to coach you through it a little bit. So bend your knees.
This is really hard for me, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like a giant meatball here. Okay.
Yep. So you're going to bend your knees. Okay. And then you're going to fall back and you're going to open up that chest as you do it. Okay. You're going to support, bring that head back. Now breathe all into your stomach while you're doing it. Bring that head back farther. Bend your knees a little bit more. You should feel like the majority of their weight's in your feet. So you should feel your feet connecting. Okay. And when you come up, you should feel, you'll notice a difference in your voice. Okay. This is a really good exercise if you're speaking and you're getting nervous before you go on stage. I do this all the time in the back. I shake it out. I get out of my head. I get into my body. If you guys do videos, same thing, super important. Okay. Getting out of your head, getting into your body. We connect emotionally, not mentally through video. So it's really important to get that body moving. We was just with one of our clients, Corey, Tasha, and we're trying to get him out of his head into his body, right? Sharing it from our heart, sharing it from our spirit. Messages from our heart and our spirit are always more impactful than from our head. Okay. So do you share messages from your head, your heart, or your spirit? When you get out of your head and into your body, like we were just saying, through breathing, through shaking off, through vibrating, all of those things really help us on a day-to-day basis with everything. Okay. Because again, think about how much we're hovered over. They were showing this picture of what the average human being is going to look like in the next 10 years. And it showed this really horrible posture. Okay. The turkey gobbler. Okay. Right. The turkey gobbler, when you talk, your double chin's talking as well. Horrible posture. Okay. Fat. Like it was It was disgusting. And it's like, that's going to be a real story. So realizing that, we got to counteract these muscles on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So just real quick things that I wanted to share. So as I was saying, I grew up in the fitness industry. I want to show you guys some funny throwback pictures. Don't laugh too much at me because I was still trying to figure out who Travis Brady was, but you guys are going to laugh at some of these. This was my Abercrombie picture. This is when I was, I think, 16 or 17, doing a little sexy pose right there for you. This is when I really started to work out. And yes, I did dye my hair, right? I got into bodybuilding competitions when I was younger. This is my first competition. I'm right there in the middle. I went from 200 pounds down to 170 pounds. A month out from the competition, I had no energy. I was crawling upstairs. And this might be TMI, but I feel like this is something important to notate to people because this is the real shit that happens. Okay. Is my downstairs boys weren't even working the way that they should have been working. I was really struggling in that area. I had a girlfriend at the time. That whole competition really put a lot of stress on the relationship. This was my powerlifting competition. I was super sick that day. Was throwing up in between every single time I was doing the lift. Okay. This was on a Tough Mudder that I did with one of my clients. Okay. So early on, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a baseball player. And I thought, how cool would it be to do something that you love while getting paid a lot to do it? And in high school, I really had a change of heart and I really fell in love with personal training. I was the kid in little school or elementary that was the only kid on the team that didn't hit a home run. Everyone else on the team hit a home run. My friends made fun of me because I was so skinny. I got called no butt in junior high. They say Travis's back goes straight into his legs. He literally has no ass. Believe it or not. And so I started over these years to really develop a bad relationship with my body. And so when I got right out of high school, I went right into personal training. And I thought, man, if I really want to give myself the accolades to be the best, I got to do a bodybuilding competition. I did everything wrong. I cut out my fat. My food was disgusting. I built this really bad relationship with food. I jumped on these supplements that weren't good. I cycled off of them, which allowed my testosterone drop to the point where my boys weren't even working. And then I took third in the competition and, people said that was good. But for me, you're the second loser. What was your relationship with your body growing up? Okay. What was that like for you? Where did you develop the relationship to your body? Who taught you that? And so I just, being a natural competitor, I just became super hyper focused on it. I was so skinny and I was so embarrassed of my legs. I tested out of PE class when I was in 9th grade because I didn't want to run, because that's all you did in PE class. You just run in a circle. So I tested out in my Jinko pants. You guys remember the Jinkos? Garrett, remember the Jinkos? I ran a 1.25 miles in like 7 minutes and 15 seconds in my Jinkos. I was spitting up blood after I did it. I was just obsessed. I was obsessed with the way I looked, but not from a healthy standpoint. And so right after the competition, I was just gorging all this food, as much food as I could possibly eat. And then that night, because I haven't been eating food for the last 3 months, and then that night I puked it all in the toilet. And after I puked it all up, I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. Actually, I didn't have to, I got to enjoy the food, but I didn't have to like take in all the calories. And then the next day, same thing. I ate all this food and then my gut and body wasn't used to it. So I threw it all up. And this went on for the next 2 days. But then after that, it just naturally developed into a binge and purge. And then I find myself in the back of my house at 11 o'clock every single night doing this to my body. And I remember walking in one night and looking into the mirror for the first time in years. I never looked in the mirror. The mirror was a very scary thing because I would always pick myself apart. I would always look at what was wrong with me, which muscle wasn't big enough. And I finally looked at myself and I just started crying and I just said, "What the fuck are you doing, Travis? Like, here you are trying to preach this healthy life and healthy lifestyle, but then you're doing these things that you know is not good for you." Okay. And it was definitely a low moment, but what led to that is realizing that I was defining everything of who I was outside of myself. Who is Travis Brady? Well, it depends upon what kind of girlfriend she has. Who is Travis Brady? Well, it depends upon how much money's in his bank account. Who is Travis Brady? Well, that depends upon, what his body looks like at that point in time. And so the way I had defined myself and defined my brand, which is me, was everything outside of myself, which led to low self-confidence, which led to really struggling in business. For the first 4 years, I only made $75,000 total in my first 4 years of business. And I had to start facing myself and looking at myself and figuring out who is Travis Brady without all of these things. Okay. And so before we really go into it and go through the transformation, I have some questions that I want to bring to you at this moment in time that I feel like is really important for you to answer. Okay. Because ultimately what we're going to be talking about is fitting your brand, loving your body, fitting your body. And I have some really, really good philosophies and frameworks and science I want to share with you that's absolutely going to change everything with you here today. But before we really go into that, here's the questions I want to ask you is what would it mean in your life if you had the ultimate self-love for your body, you had the ultimate physical body, health, and the ultimate energy? What would it mean in your life if you had those things? Okay, so I want you to write that down. What would it mean to you? Okay, and as you're doing it, I'm sure there's a lot of things. And here's what I would say to you. When you share things, you liberate everyone, you help everybody. So I really want this to be open and vulnerable, because this is scary sometimes sharing some of these things, right? What would it mean in your life, okay, if you had the ultimate self-love, you had the ultimate physical body, health, and energy? Okay. Anthony's in some other world. He says, my back popped. Oh, I guess you're talking about earlier when you're doing that. Okay. Good to know. Okay. What would it mean for you? Tasha, you want to go ahead and answer that?
I had a feeling you might call on me.
Yeah.
Well, if you're saying vulnerability and openness helps people, then, I will do my best to be so. Um, one of the main reasons for my divorce was because I didn't look the way he wanted me to look. And that became a belief system I had in myself, until I realized that it was ridiculous. And I'm freaking amazing and still working on it. But what would it mean in my life if I had a love for my body and my ultimate self? It's freedom. It's freedom from what other people think. It's freedom to feel and be who you want to be. It's freedom.
Okay. Freedom. I love that. Anyone else want to share? I would be a better man, a better father, a better entrepreneur. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now, the next question is, what results would you have that are different from now? So if you had the ultimate self-love for your body, you're in the best physical shape of your body, health and energy, what results would you have that are different from now? Okay. What results would be different right now in your current life? Okay. And I was working on these questions this week, and I was answering them myself. And so what results would you have that are different from now? I would have a higher level of respect for myself. Okay. Love is a lot of things, right? And love is respect. Like, I feel like I would have a lot more respect for myself. And if I had a lot more respect for myself, okay, I would receive a lot more respect from others, because the way we treat others is also the way we allow others to treat ourselves, right? Okay, Mo, you with us, sister? Okay, and then the next question is, what would you be willing to give up for it that you were unwilling to do before? Okay, so now what would it mean in your life? What results would you have that are different from now? And so now what would you be willing to give up for it that you were unwilling to do before? Okay, and it's absolutely an excuse. So excuse in what area? Okay, so sometimes people are unwilling to give up the eating out each day, right? Sometimes we're unwilling to give up drinking wine every single night. For me, at times it definitely became I had to be willing to give up the marijuana, right? So what was the thing that you what would you be willing to give up if it meant, okay, you were going to have those results? And then lastly, what has to shift? Okay, maybe that's a mindset that has to shift. Maybe that's a habit that needs to shift. Okay, what has to shift for all those things to take place? So going back to my journey in fitness, so I started to have a better relationship with myself. I stopped picking myself apart. I didn't hold so much value in what people said about my body. But here's the thing, guys. No one really said negative things about my body. Okay. But I had to stop getting so caught up in what they were saying about my body. Okay. It doesn't matter if they loved my body, didn't agree with my body, thought I was too big, too skinny. I had to stop giving the positive so much energy, because when I give the positive energy, I'm also giving the negative a lot of energy. Okay. Going back to, and this is a mindset that I really teach clients, is don't let success get to your head, and don't allow failure to get to your heart. And when you allow failure to get to your heart, you are inviting the possibility for success to get inside your head. When you let success get to your head, you're going to allow failure to get to your heart. Okay. So it's really all coming back to you. Now, can you accept a compliment? Absolutely. You can accept that compliment, but what's the difference between accepting the compliment and giving all weight to the compliment? Basically, it comes back down to the opinion of others about me is more important than the opinion of myself. Okay. The truth of it is, I heard this about a year ago, year and a half. It always goes through my mind, is they say every single person in your life has a different idea about who you are. Okay. Every single person has a different idea. And truly, the only person that really knows who you are, I think there's two people, okay, is one is yourself. And then two, okay, and what I believe, and maybe you believe something different. I'm not here to push my values on anyone. I'm merely just sharing them, but it's God. Only you and God truly know who you are at the end of the day. So why do we give so much weight to other people? And the truth is, because we want acceptance from other people. Okay. We want buy-in. It's a survival mechanism. Okay. It's a survival mechanism to get people to accept us. And the reason why is because if our clan didn't accept us, if our tribe didn't accept us, then they were going to kick us out. Now we had to go survive on our own. Right. And so that survival mechanism still kicks in here today. But here's the catch-22. Okay. When we give our when we give up our opinion to other people, we are then allowing the possibility for them not to accept us. So sometimes the thing we're afraid of happening is already happening. Okay. Well, I'm afraid that if I take off my shirt or share a video, or I'm afraid if I do this, people won't like me or people won't accept me. Well, when we have that fear, usually there's already a truth to those things happening, right? Because we are holding that. All right. So as I started to really do that, and then really just getting conscious in how I'm talking to myself, okay, and how I'm treating myself and what I'm saying to myself in the mirror. And I don't know about you, okay, but I like, one of the things I had to get over is I had to get over that I had freckles. I was so self-conscious of my freckles. I had this, I had a really fit body, but I would go to the pool and I would be so scared to take off my shirt because I had freckles, right? And I would buy these creams to get the freckles away, but then I'm white because I'm Irish, so I'm trying to tan and get rid of these freckles, and it's just like this whole fucking conundrum cycle, right? And I remember reading this book, and maybe this will, and this one question changed everything for me. Okay, what are the things you love about your body? What are the things you don't love about your body? Okay, so I'm listing them out. Well, what do I love about my body? Well, I love the fact that I can lean up really easy. I love that my body's quick and fast. I love that it's agile. I love that I have a long torso. Well, what are the things I don't love about my body? Well, I don't like that I'm not as tan. I don't like the fact that I have freckles. And then I started to list off all these things. And now the next question is, what are the things you can change about the things you don't like? So what are the things you can change about what you don't like? Well, I can get a spray on tan. Well, I can go outside and get some sun, so I can change that. Well, what are the things you can't change? I can't change the fact that I have freckles. So what is my only choice? My only choice at that point in time is to gain a relationship with that part of my body and come to a place of self-love and acceptance. Okay. And for me, that really started to change everything with my body. Is like, yeah, I can't change these freckles. So I'm going to need to learn how to accept these freckles. I'm going to need to learn how to love these freckles. And now apparently there's a thing today where you put makeup freckles on your face. And whenever I see people doing that, I'm just like, I'm a little bit like weirded out, because it took me so long to come to acceptance with my freckles. But at the same time, I was like, that's cool. I don't even have to put on my makeup for my freckles. I just naturally have them. And so it just came back down to that. What do I love about my body? What do I not love? What can I change? What can I not change? And learn to gain a relationship with that part of my body. And one of the things that I had a hard time struggling with over time is how skinny I was. So I ate tons of food. I indulged in tons of food. And if let's see if I can find some bodybuilding photos. Okay, when I was at my my chubbiest, there's one with Jay Cutler. Okay, feel free to laugh at me if you want. Like, there's me. I'm like around 215, 220. I think I'm around 22 there, 23. That's around 16, 17 years ago, maybe more. And it just, I look back and I'm just like, I'm chubby. I'm a Pillsbury Doughboy. But I was so obsessed with not being skinny that I started eating all these calories. And then when I started to get into a contest, now I'm getting super lean. And then the opposite is starting to happen. I'm looking at myself, I'm like, I'm so lean and it doesn't look good either. And I'm even having people say, Travis, I don't like when you get so lean. And so here's the biggest concept that I want to share with you over today. And I sat down with thousands of people one-on-one. I would put my one-on-one time against 99.9% of the trainers out there. Okay. I did that shit for 12 years, 30 sessions a week, back to back. I've trained with a lot of people, not just in fitness, but coaching. And here's the thing I've really noticed over the years. Okay. The people that fight their natural bodies always tend to struggle. People who fight their natural body and their natural build always tend to struggle. Okay. One of my mentors, Elliot Hulse, who's a bigger powerlifter, literally has the opposite body of me. Okay. I would idolize him. And I remember watching a video and he was saying, I idolized the beach body, which was more of the skinny legs, you know, leaner frame. And so it was very interesting to hear that he wanted my frame and he tried to do that, but he struggled in doing that. And I wanted his frame and I struggled to do that. Okay. And so when we're looking to like have a certain look, here's what we start to do wrong. Okay. The first one is we start fighting our body. Okay. Now, when we look in the mirror, okay, we're beginning from a state of hate, frustration, and anger. Okay. So what in your life grows from a state of frustration, anger, and hate? They've actually done studies with this. I'm sure you guys heard the studies. They talk to the plant. They talk to two plants each day. They talk to the plant nicely. Okay. And then they talk to, you guys heard this, and they talk to the other plant meanly. I hate you. And then over the course of a couple months, same water, the plant that's receiving nice words is growing, and the plant that's receiving negative words, okay, is dissipating and dying. All right. So that's the first thing, is really like accepting and loving the body. What you look at and love gets better. What you avoid and hate gets worse. All right. And you can apply that to finances. Okay. Over the years in finances, when I avoid looking at the accounting, it gets worse. When I am fearful around, it gets worse. When I love looking at it, okay, it gets better. So when it comes to your body, okay, are you looking at it? Are you out of the shower in the morning and you're looking at your naked body? Okay. Are you trying to hide the body? Okay. And so, as you guys know, Andy Elliott is really famous for making people take his shirt off, and he gets a lot of shit for it. But there's a lot of really good things that happen when you start to really get real and look at your body. Okay. So that would be my first thing. Okay. Is find a way to love your body where you're at. And I'll come back to this in just a second. Okay. The next one is, no one gives a shit how much you weigh except for you. Okay. No one gives a shit how much you weigh except for you. Nobody. You do. Nobody else does. And maybe you don't, and that's good. But I remember in my head, thought I need to weigh 220 pounds. I need to be 5% body fat. And so I was trying to fit this mold of what I think I needed to be inside of my head. And as I did that, I took in a lot of calories. I ended up becoming a Pillsbury Doughboy. Then when I tried to lean up, I would then drop back down to the weight where I was supposed to be at. But then I would get frustrated and upset. So I'd eat again. So I began almost this, bodybuilders are known for this yo-yo bodybuilder diet, just going up and down and up and down, and finally realizing that's not where my body likes to sit. My body does not like to sit at 215 pounds. So for the last 12 years, I have maintained, give or take 3 to 4 pounds, 195. Okay. 195 is where my body likes to sit. When it's lower than that, okay, it's usually not the greatest. When it's higher than that, when it starts to get over 200, it's usually not good. So I needed to stop getting obsessed with what the number on the scale says. Okay. The more important number that you want to be looking at is, what's your body fat percentage? Okay. When was the last time that you checked your body fat percentage? Okay. And so this goes back to my previous point. What you look at gets better. What you avoid gets worse. When I was working with personal trainers, one of the common thing that always came up when I was helping them brand, I don't know if I can really be a personal trainer. What if I don't get them results? anyone could be a fucking personal trainer, because here's what you do. Okay. Anybody, all you do is make your clients take a picture of themselves every single week in their swimsuit and make them weigh themselves and check their body fat every single week. And if you consistently held them accountable in those areas, by nature, they're going to start to change because they're starting to look at it. Now they're more conscious on a day-to-day basis. What am I eating? What am I drinking? How am I sleeping? All these different things. Okay. So it was really laughable. So I always told my personal training clients, there's a lot to know in the fitness industry for sure. There's a lot of science, but the fact is, weigh your clients in addition to their body fat. You can't get a body fat one unless you're weighing them. Okay. And make sure you're looking at yourself. Those things, it's miracles. It's the stupidest thing. It's the easiest thing. But if I had my clients doing that, they just naturally started the change. Okay. So going back to the weight in a second. All right. And I want to throw this out for a second. What muscles do you think are most So from men to women and women to men, which muscles do you think women find the most attractive on men? Okay, the top three. I want you to put them below in the chat. This is always an interesting topic. What do you think are the top three muscles that girls are most attracted to? Traps, arms, abs, biceps, tongue. I knew someone was going to say it. I knew someone was going to say it, and I knew David was going to do it. Okay. All right. No one's got two of the three. Oh, people have only got one of the three. What are the top three muscles girls are most attracted to? Okay. Mind. Yep. That is probably outweighing the most. Here's the thing that I've noticed about men and women over the years. Men try to attract women the way that men are attracted, and women try to attract men the way that women are attracted. I thought that was quite fascinating. Here's the top three muscles that girls are most attracted to. And the reason why girls are most attracted to these muscles is because it comes back down to masculinity. Women are attracted to masculinity. Okay. Yeah. Women are attracted to masculinity. Men are attracted to femininity. So what attracts us is those different things. So masculinity is a big back, a big, bold back. I've heard so many women over the years. Ooh, I love big backs because there's so many muscles. There's so many curves. Okay. Butts, when a guy has a big butt, it shows dominance. Okay. And you can't look at a guy that doesn't have a guy that has a big butt is almost always going to be strong. You cannot see a guy with a big butt. Okay. And I don't mean a fat ass. I mean a muscle butt. Okay. They're going to be strong. And then a guy with a core, they're strong. They have a strong core. Okay. Back, butt, and abs. Guys, if you develop those three muscles, you are going to look attractive. Okay. It's about curvature, not what the body looks like. I had a lot of clients over the years. They'd be like, oh my gosh, I hit my goal weight, but I don't like the way I look. It's because you got obsessed with the number, not with the curves. So when I see guys in the gym, they're like, hey, how do I work out like this part of my muscle? Or how do I look out like the trap? Like they try to isolate. Your body is a well-conditioned machine. It needs to focus on movement. So when people are in the gym, focus on overall movement. When you're focused on overall movement, the muscles know how to develop themselves to movement. So when you become a great mover, okay, and I want to show you guys a video here in a second that will bring this home, okay? When you become a great mover, right? Oh, my thing died. We're going to come back here. When you become a great mover, right, the muscles that develop automatically develop the way that they're supposed to be. Okay, so don't ever skip your abs. Guys, definitely don't skip legs. Okay, sometimes I get teased because people look at my legs. I'm like, I invite you into the gym to do a leg workout with me. If you want to tease me, we'll go there if we need to. Okay, but I do work out my legs. And own the curvature of your body. Okay. The goal is about creating curves. Now let's go back to women. Okay. What are the top 3 muscles men are most attracted in women? Okay. What do you think those are? What are the top 3 muscles or top 3, muscles that men are most attracted to in women? Okay. And I'll give you a hint. It goes back to femininity. Okay. David keeps going back to the mind. Okay. And again, everyone has their different quirks, you know. I mean, I'm sure some guys are obsessed with feet and everything, but here's the top 3 things that guys are most attracted to. Okay. And it all comes back to femininity. Women are attracted to protection, right? So women are more likely to date an older guy. Okay. And men are more likely to date a younger guy. Women are more likely to date a guy that's taller. Okay. Men are more likely to date a woman that's shorter. All right. They have different races, right? And I won't even get into that conversation. We can at a later point if you want as well, but men are attracted to youth. That's why they're attracted to birthing a child, and then the woman is attracted to keeping this child alive and giving this child protection. Okay. And so men are attracted to boobs. Obviously, girl with big boobs symbolizes that she's going to have enough milk for his child. Okay. And then the next one is hips. Okay. Butts and hips, we'll put those in a combo because a woman with nice curvature in the hips means that she can bear the weight of a nice, healthy child. Okay. So, and I always say the same thing to women is the same thing to men. Okay. Fuck what that scale says. That scale will be the death of you. Body fat. Yes. We got to track the body fat. Create curvature within your body. Okay. And this is for all the women. And this comes from a man. Okay. And I've been very conscious in my thought process with this over the years. You know, I've dated women who were considered quote unquote have a perfect body, but my attraction for them was never quite as high as a woman that was more in her feminine energy and she learned how to move like a woman. So even though she might have not looked as fit as some of these other girls, the way she moved and the way she carried herself as a woman was more attractive to me. So sometimes in the effort of looking a certain way as a woman, and I would say the same thing with men, okay, we start to give up the power of our gender. Okay, the power of a man's gender is being a man. The power of a woman and what makes her confident is being a woman. Okay. And sometimes, and especially in this day and age, you know, there's a lot of everyone's being pushed to the middle, right? And there's a lot of transgender talk, and there's a lot of, and I'm not getting into all the specific situations, you know, with people at the end of the day, but for the most part, everyone's being pushed to the middle. Okay. So let's go back down to exercise prescription. Okay. So now that we're starting to get into some of these concepts as far as exercise goes, let's go back to prescription, starting with the thing that we tend to look at first is our fitness program. Okay. First rule. Okay. First rule, write this down. If I don't love it, I won't stick to it. Okay. If I don't love it, I won't stick to it. So David brought up a great point earlier today, an hour ago. I want to find something that I'll enjoy. So what's so funny, David, is my friend Josh, who you guys are like twins. He says the exact same thing about that with the weights and everything. So it's just so funny. You guys need to meet. But he says the same thing. I just want to do something that I enjoy. Okay. If you enjoy running and you fucking hate lifting weights, then you should stick to the running and stop trying to force yourself to lift all the time. Okay. If you enjoy rollerblading, you need a rollerblade. If you enjoy yoga, you need to do yoga. You need to find something that you enjoy and something that challenges you in the movement area. Okay. So in that conversation, what do you enjoy? How could we incorporate more of that movement? What's the difference between physical? What's the difference between exercise and physical activity? Okay. What's the difference between exercise and physical activity? I had a client over the years. She said, I exercise all day. I'm always taking care of my husband. He needs my help sitting up, sitting down. Okay. I don't need to go to the gym. I go, here's the issue. Yes, you do move a lot during the day, but all that movement is for somebody else. That movement's not for you. Exercise is movement for you, for your enjoyment. So don't mistake physical activity with exercise. Okay. There's two completely different things. I hate with a passion running on the treadmill. I hate it. Okay. I hate it. But you throw a ball just like my dog, I'll go chase it for hours. Basketball, pickleball, right? I love those types of things. Okay. So how could you incorporate more planned exercise that you enjoy? Don't get me wrong. Okay. The weights is a great way to build curvature, but you know what builds no curvature at all? Not doing any gym, not doing any exercise, not doing any type of movement. So this is where we start to get outside of our brand. We said, well, Travis says I need curvature, so I should probably lift weights. But if you're lifting weights every single day and you hate lifting weights, okay, it's only a matter of time before you're going to give that up. And this is why they always say in business, follow your passion. If you don't love it, you're just going to eventually give in, because do hard things happen in business? Absolutely, things happen hard in business. And the same thing goes with your body. Okay. If you're not enjoying what you do, okay, then find something to do. But also in that same conversation, I would say challenge yourself to do something different. Okay. The body is the mind. When we're doing the same thing over and over, which we have a tendency to do, the mind stops expanding. Again, the root system is down here. I started learning how to do those glow in the dark poi ball things. Okay. Why? Because it challenges me to move differently. Okay. I'm trying to do handstand push-ups. Why? Because it challenges me to move differently. Okay. Find a way to challenge yourself to move differently in a way that you're going to enjoy. So if you love weights all the time, that's great, but find a way to challenge yourself. But from the core, you should be absolutely using weight training to some level. Okay. Women say, well, I don't want to bulk up. I don't want to look like you. You go and follow someone like Josh in the gym or me in the gym, and you follow our exact same routine, it's hard enough for us to put on even a pound of muscle sometimes. Okay. Lifting as heavy as we do. You don't have the hormones. You don't have the body structure to gain muscle like we do. When women are afraid of gaining muscle, it's usually because they're looking at some women that are jacked up on steroids. Okay. The women that got the best results over the years in the different phases of their program was always the phase when they're lifting the heaviest amount of weights. Okay. I refer to the women that go to the gym and lift these little light dumbbells. I call them dumbbellinas. Don't be a dumbbellina. Okay. Right. If we're aliens and we come here from outer space and we were to go observe people at the gym, go look at everyone on the treadmill and then go look at everyone in the weight training section. Who looks better? Who's more fit? Okay. Who has a more shapely body? Okay. It's very clear and obvious that the people that are lifting the weights, okay, have more of the shape in their body. Okay. So weight training is absolutely something you should do. Now, if you don't enjoy it, right, should you be doing it every day? Probably not. But I would say at the minimum, twice a week can really do wonders. Upper body, lower body, a half an hour on each, everyone can do that. Okay. Half an hour consistently done can be monster. It could be crazy, can make a crazy difference in your body. Okay. Next one is have well-rounded. Okay. Yoga. I've been doing yoga more lately. All right. I've been doing, yoga. I've been doing rollerblading. Okay. So find a way to do something different. Okay. Challenge your body to do something different when it comes to the gym. Okay. Now we're going lower. Okay. And instead of going to the next importance, I'm going to go to the to the 4 most important things. Okay. And then we'll hand this over to Drew Manning and I'll answer any questions that you guys might have. Okay. The core most important thing when it comes down to getting fit is your breathing. Are you a mouth breather or are you a nose breather? Okay, they say nose breathing. There's a book called Breathe. They say they do all these studies about nose breathing. Nose breathing is so healthy for you. You should never be breathing through your mouth. They say if you're a mouth breather, you need to start taping your mouth and you need to start getting really fixated on breathing through your nose. Nose breathing is so healthy. If this tells you anything, okay, my son's 4 years old. Every time I'm with him, at least every week, I say this: Tatum, breathe through your nose. He's 4. He probably doesn't comprehend what I'm saying right now, but I'm going to ingrain that into his body at a really, really young age. Breathe through your nose. It's a healthier breath. You gain more oxygen. Okay. The healthiest breath is 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out, nice and controlled. Okay. Nose breathing. If you're stressed on a daily basis and you're breathing like that, your body is kicking up stress hormones, which triggers your sugar to be burned. Sugar is quick acting energy. So as soon as your body burns this sugar, what do you think your body wants? Sugar. But you're not going to eat sugar. You're on a diet, right? You're going to fight that craving. Fuck no, you're not. Your body is a damn monster and it's going to get what it's going to get. Okay. You can only fight that body for so long. Okay. And the max I've seen people fight that body is about a month to a couple of months. After that, the body's going to get what it's going to get. You have to feed that monster the way that it's designed to eat. Okay. But that's not the next thing I would even tell you to focus on. Okay. We're not to nutrition yet. And I'm not giving you a meal plan yet. Okay. Because I know if I give you a meal plan, you're going to underestimate these other things I've talked about, and you're going to miss the whole point that I'm telling you about. And you're going to really struggle getting into shape. And then you're going to think it's your nutrition. It has nothing to do with your nutrition. Okay. We're on breath. Breath work is so powerful. Next is we can only go minutes without breathing. What's the next way we can die fastest other than physical impact?
Water.
Water. You can go days without water. We mistake hunger for thirst. We think we're hungry, really we're thirsty. A 1% drop in total body water weight, which is literally me just driving across town with the top down in the hot summer. That's literally 1%. 1% takes away from me right there. Now I'm more hungry. Okay. Now I want more sugar. Now my body starts to shut down. It's a survival mechanism, guys. Your body is a monster. It's going to get what it needs to get. Okay. Half your body weight in ounces of water per day at a very minimum. I had one client commit like a crazy person to drinking water every single day. Change nothing else. They dropped 40 pounds of fat over the course of 4 months just by drinking water. That's it. That's all they did. They just drink water. They just committed to a highest level drinking water. When I see people go to restaurants and they order these sodas that have high fructose corn syrup, I'm like, that's the worst thing you could be doing. Okay. The fake sugars are worse for you. Okay. You might as well be drinking a full soda with real sugar in it versus Diet Coke. Okay. Do not drink any of that fake shit. That fake shit comes back to haunt you. Okay. Because again, what it does real quick is your body, the sugar comes into the body. It's fake sugar though, but your body releases insulin as if it's real sugar. So the insulin comes out. The insulin's a storing hormone. So the insulin comes out and it says, I can't store you. So the insulin floats around in the blood. So what it does is it triggers to the body, you need more sugar. So now you naturally eat more sugar, eat more food, and it's probably an extra bite, an extra 2 bites. But the habitual process of taking a few bites every single day adds up to the difference between you being overweight versus being in a normal body fat. Okay. Diet Coke is the worst. That diet shit, don't drink it. Okay. You might as well drink a regular Coke. That's why I get Mexican Cokes. I drink a full Mexican Coke. I'm satisfied. When I was doing my contest, I was pounding down 8 Diet Cokes a day. No joke. I was pounding it like water because I needed to get my fix, not realizing that I was creating a bigger monster inside of my body. Okay. Your body needs real food. Okay. Real shit that your body's used to digesting for thousands of years. If you don't know how to pronounce the ingredient on the food, you probably shouldn't be eating that. Okay. Next one. So we got oxygen, we got water. Next one is sleep. Early on in my training days, I never give any thought to this. I had client after client. Why aren't you seeing results? Why aren't you seeing results? Okay. Finally figured out they're sleeping 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night. There's no way. There's no way your body can repair. It's in constant survival mode. When your body's out of balance from a chemical standpoint, it starts to hold on to fat. It's a survival mechanism. When your body's in a good balanced state, it burns fat and builds muscle. Okay. Again, your body is super smart. Okay. So when it feels like it's in a survival state, it holds on to fat. So oxygen, water, okay, sleep, those core things that are associated with us living. If there's any deprivation in any of those areas, the body's naturally going to start to hold on to fat. I am so obsessed with my sleep. Ask Flory. Flory, it's time to go to bed. Where are you at? 7 to 8 hours. Don't stop making compromises. Okay. Stop making compromises in your sleep, with your sleep. Okay. And then after you're doing all of those things, then I will give you a meal plan. Okay. If you ask for a meal plan from me prior, I'm going to say go with some other trainer because I'm not doing it. Okay. So if I'm staying away from sugar, I'm staying away from flours and breads and alcohols. Okay. I'm getting substantial amount of fat. Okay. Fat's my friend. If I were the president of the United States, I would change the word fat to lipid. Fat does not make you fat. Okay. And I'm sure Drew Manning could speak on this stuff and more. So let's recap. Let's recap everything. Okay. We'll go on a quick break and then we'll bring Drew Manning. Okay. Core thing, find a way to have a better relationship with your body. Okay. It's a relationship. So it's not going to change overnight. Find a way to have a better relationship with your body. Okay. When I go to dress myself, first I'm looking at what feels good. Like this felt really good today. Anything else wouldn't have felt good. So one, I'm always dressing. How do I feel? Okay. What's the occasion? And then what does it look like? Okay. Look like is not first. Okay. It's how does it feel? How does it feel? What's the occasion? What does it look like? Okay. So those are my rules for dressing. Okay. Next one, find a way to move every single day, 6 days a week. 1 hour of the day is literally 4% of your time. People say, well, I have a business. Great. Go to the gym, meet people. Great. Sign up for a club, meet people, make business connections. That doesn't make so sense with a corporate person, right? Because they're paid what they're paid. But if you have a business, your business thrives on people, right? So why not go where people are at? So if you're going to the gym each day, here's what I challenge you with, and I need to get back to this challenge. Okay. Find a way to meet someone new every single time you go to the gym. And it could be as simple as you're working out next to someone. Hey, how's your workout? Simple as that. Hey, how you doing? How's the workout? Hey, let me know if you need a spot. Okay. Compliment them. Hey, dude, quads looking ripped, bro, looking good. Hey, love your shirt. Hey, love your shoes. Like, find a way to interact with people. Okay. It'll absolutely pay for itself. I have a friend, family member, I won't mention names. He has millions of dollars and he goes to the brokest ass gym. I go, why don't you go to the gym down the street? Okay, that's nicer. He's like, well, it's more expensive. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Who do you think hangs out at poor gym, or who do you think hangs out at the cheap gyms? Cheap people. Who do you think hangs out at the ritzy gyms? People who have money. Who buys your products and services? People who have money. Okay, the membership pays for itself. When people cheap out on the membership and things like that, it's like, dude, you're losing clients, bro. You're losing business. It will pay for itself. Okay, so move every day. Find a way to love yourself. Fit your brand. Fit your look. Okay, that might be, okay, less muscle. That might be more muscle. That might be leaner. That might be skinnier legs. Okay, the focus is on movement. Okay, be an awesome mover. When you're being an awesome mover and you're focusing on movement, the body will absolutely adapt to meet that movement. Become an amazing mover. I just found, I've been looking for someone like this for a long time. I refer to him as a body movement coach, and $300 to come to my house the other day, and that's all he focused on is movement. Okay. And as I naturally started to move better, and I've been figuring out, I've been doing a push-up wrong. How embarrassing is that? Okay. Been doing a push-up wrong. Okay. He helped me change some mechanics. My muscles are automatically going to change. My body's automatically going to change. When I'm a great mover, my body's going to adapt to look like that. So become a great mover. Oxygen is your number one friend. Okay, become a fish, drink like water. Fat is your friend. Stay away from the fake shit. Fake shit is not, like, calories is literally so useless. Honestly, it really is. It's next to useless, not completely useless. It's next to useless. I don't focus on calories. I focus on what kind of calories are there. If my client took in a bunch of calories, but they were great calories, great. I've never had a client get fat off eating too much good calories. It's usually, Travis, I was doing so good. And then the shit storm. Okay. And then the monster came out and said, I want food. And then game's over. You can't, like, I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I don't have that much self-control. Okay. You're going to give in. So you might as well just give your body what it needs. All right. And, and lastly, in bearing my testimony, when I made the switch from personal training over to life coaching and transformation coaching, the core reason why I did that was because I saw the difference that when you started to upgrade this mindset and identity, and then you coupled it with just some of these basic laws of fitness and health, they start making more money. They start bringing in better relationships into their life. I can't even tell you how many clients that I met that were single that I watched them get married. It was so cool. So awesome. So wherever you feel like you're at with wealth and career and relationships, your body literally could be the piece that unlocks everything for you in your life. It could literally be that simple for you. Okay. And I've seen it so much over the years. So I don't justify ever not moving my body. I don't ever justify not getting up in the morning and going to the gym. And I'm an asshole if I don't. I take care of myself. There is a leader. We have to take care of a lot of people on a day-to-day basis. True or false? That's a lot. Heavy is the head of the man and woman that holds the crown. And so physical fitness and exercise gives you an opportunity to take care of that number one person each day that's taking care of everybody else. Okay. It's so much easier to take care of clients and other people when I first take care of myself. And I don't make excuses for that. Okay. I don't do that because I've seen what it does to other people. I've seen when people go through a divorce, they drop taking care of their body. I've seen when people go through the hard time in business, they stop taking care of it. And it's literally the death of people sometimes. So if you walk away with anything from this, I hope you can walk away from that. Okay, so we're gonna go on a quick 4-minute break. Okay, we'll be back ready to rock and roll with Drew Manning. While we're on break, anyone have any comments or questions? I'll sit here and while we go on a quick break.
Oh, hey, Travis.
What up?
What's up, dude? So to strike a conversation, is it appropriate to compliment somebody's butt? Is that- Yeah, I like that comment, dude. Yeah, somebody just asked me the other day, they're like, how do you find these people at gym that you're friends with? And I'm like, oh, you just, see them in the locker room, or I'll say, oh, how's your day going? How's your lift? And you know that on the head. I said that same thing yesterday, just giving somebody advice on how to meet people. But it's really that easy. How did your lift go?
Yeah. How's it going? Like your shoes. Like, find a way to make a genuine compliment with someone. Right. It literally it literally changed everything. You go to the gym the same time each day, it's like cheers, like everybody knows your name, right? Like it's cool. It opens up your social circle. And this is something I've been talking a lot about lately, is like, how many social circles are you a part of? Right.
Generally or genuinely, they're there to better themselves, and they're going to be more positive and more motivated.
Yeah.
Conversation's always like, oh, they always end with, I hope you have a great day, or, go ahead and I hope you crush it.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about the people you want to meet. Where are they hanging out? Business events, networking events, okay, leadership programs, gyms, right? Like, one of my clients over the years said, I should have maybe had it as a big sign when I met my wife at the bar.
Yeah.
We've all been there, but yeah, is that the best? Like, where are you going? Where are you going to meet people?
My brother's getting out of a relationship with a girl he met at a bar right now. So
Yeah, I mean,
they have kids. So
it could be worse.
I met my ex in a bar.
There we go.
Ironically, he complimented me on my butt.
Full circle, full circle.
There we go. While we're waiting too, I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments they want to share. But while we're waiting, I want to pull up this video.
What's up, Drew?
Okay. I want to share this. And it kind of goes back to some of the stuff I was saying.
Why should we move, and why do we move in complex ways? Well, movement complexity is by far the reason why we became human. The reason for our brain development and our departure and ascent to the top of the food chain is related to movement complexity. So I have a newsflash for you. You are the best movers on the planet. So bro, what kind of muscles you have? No. Bro, what kind of patterns you have? Can you flip? Can you invert? Can you crawl? Or is it just aesthetics? My name is Ito Portal. I grew up in a kind of a physical lifestyle from the start. Slowly throughout the practice and transitioning between arts and exploring capoeira, exploring other fields, I got into the realization that it's movement that I'm passionate about. Basically, we are all teachers. Whether you like it or not, you are a teacher all the time. So somebody copies you, you're a teacher. Somebody stops you at the street, asks you for directions, you become the teacher. It's something that is a piece of human culture, being a teacher and then also being a student. Information is toxic and it's addictive, and we run after it. We have this thirst for information, but at a certain point, it turns on you and it paralyzes you, it freezes you up, and it doesn't allow you to apply and learn, and it's not anymore a contributing factor for your development. First, aesthetics is reverse engineering. Concentrating on aesthetics is reverse engineering, which usually fails. Trying to reverse engineer a proficient body movement, a body of a mover, and only putting the aesthetics of it. It's similar to a nose that is not meant for breathing. Of course, it has a price. And you end up empty, you end up sick, you end up immobile because you're not pursuing movement and you're pursuing just the looks of it, just the aesthetics. For the upper body, I definitely view the best piece of equipment.
All right, we'll pause it right there, but just going back to what we've been talking about is, focusing on movement, focusing on, what's the body designed to do. With that being said, I want to bring on the man, the myth, the legend. When I first saw Drew Manning, I was actually at my house watching Jay Leno, and they were introducing this guy who gained weight on purpose. And I was like, this crazy ass dude is from Utah. Ended up later getting connected with him, and just over the years, just gained a relationship with him. I really appreciate the way he approaches it. Like I was saying, I have a BS detector in the fitness industry with some people. I love what he talks about. Full integrity with everything. He's doing cool things, and he's going to share a little about his journey. And on the outside in, I thought that he just gained weight on purpose and there wasn't any method to it, but there actually was a lot of method to what he did. And it's definitely something you'll want to listen to. So without further ado, let's bring up Drew Manning, fit to fat to fit.
What's up? What's up? I feel like I need a walkout song or something.
Sorry, I didn't have that ready.
It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate the intro, Travis. What's up, everyone? How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you guys for showing up. And feel free to ask any questions. It's a small group, so we'll keep it kind of intimate. If you guys have questions throughout, please feel free to raise your hand or ask questions in the chat. So really quick, I'm just going to briefly go through what Fit to Fat to Fit is for those that might not know what it is or have never heard of it. I'll kind of briefly bring you on the journey of what I did and why I did it. And then at the end, I'll explain what I learned from it and how that affects how I show up today and how that can affect you in your life as a mom, as a dad, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Just wanting to be the best version of you as a human with your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, financial health, and how your physical health affects all of those other categories, if you will. So I'm excited to dive in with you guys. So really quick, just to kind of bring you guys on the journey. I'm going to show, is it okay if I share my screen, Travis?
Yes, I will. You should be good to go.
Okay, I'm just going to show you guys a few slides just to kind of give you some images of, where I was at. So just a little bit of backstory about me. I grew up in a family of 11 brothers and sisters. I'm number 7 of 11. And we all played sports growing up. So I grew up playing American football and wrestling, which are very, demanding sports. But, because of that, as a byproduct, I was in shape my entire life. And in 2009, I became certified as a personal trainer. So here I was, someone who had never been overweight a day in my life. Right. This is kind of what I looked like in the beginning. This is kind of like me, my whole life, trying to help people, who were pretty much overweight majority of their life. And there was an obvious disconnect between the way I saw the world and the way they saw the world, because the way I saw it was very black and white. Like, it's so easy. You just put down the junk food, You go to the gym, you eat healthy food. Like, it's not that hard. You just do it. Like, I couldn't understand why my clients struggled. You know, I would give them a meal plan, give them a workout program. I'm like, all right, here you go. You just do it, and then you'll look like this. And you know, they struggled with consistency and discipline and willpower. And I just would get so frustrated because in my mind, it seemed so simple. It seemed so easy just to do it, right? Until I had a client of mine who was my brother-in-law at the time. And he, one time, you know, I get frustrated with him at family events because we would go to like family get-togethers and he would always be eating the junk food, right? I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm training you. You're paying me to train you. And you're not, like, you're in my face eating the pizza and ice cream. And he's like, well, yeah, man, I want to enjoy life too. And I'm like, you know, I would get so frustrated with him. He would tell me, you know, Drew, you don't understand what it's like for me. You know, you don't understand how hard it is for me or for people like me, because for you, it's always been easy. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. It has been easy. I don't understand why it's so hard. So I kind of went on this journey of like, okay, how can I gain a better understanding so that I can better help my clients, him and you know, multiple other clients that struggled, right? Because it wasn't just him that struggled. There's a lot of people that struggle to stay consistent. I'm going to dive in to the psychology of why I think most people struggle. And it has nothing to do with willpower or discipline. It's deeper than that. And I'll explain in a little bit. But when he said that to me, I was like, you know what? You're right. I need to gain a better understanding. And then for whatever reason, I still don't know why to this day, why this idea popped up in my head. But the idea of getting fat on purpose made sense in my mind. It felt like I was being called to do this crazy experiment. I remember I checked with my wife at the time, who was pregnant, and I told her about this idea, and she's like, yeah. So she's like, you're telling me we're going to have junk food in the house for 6 months. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. She's like, yes, I think you should do it. Because she was having all these cravings being pregnant. And, you know, she wanted some of the delicious food too. So anyways, the idea in a nutshell was for 6 months, I would stop exercising. I would eat a standard American diet. You know, we all know Morgan Spurlock, who did Supersize Me. He recently passed away like a few weeks ago, I think. And I don't think it was because of the McDonald's experiment, by the way. I know a lot of people are blaming that. But you know, what I wanted to focus on was everyday American foods that a lot of us grew up with in the 70s and 80s, of like, you know, these highly processed junk foods, which I'll describe what they are. I wanted to focus on that type of food. So 6 months, no exercise, standard American diet. This is me on day one. I've done the journey twice.
6 months, no exercise.
Yeah, 6 months, zero exercise. And this was me on the beginning of my first journey in 2011, free tattoos. And then again in 2020, I did it again as a 40-year-old, and I'll explain why later. But then 6 months later, this is, oh, there we go. This is me 6 months later. 76 pounds gained in 2011, 62 pounds gained in 2020. And the 2020 journey was only 4 months, not 6 months. But anyways, as you can see, even though I was in shape my entire life, in just 6 months of letting myself go and 4 months in the second journey, all of that didn't matter. It didn't matter how long I was in shape for. It didn't matter how long I was in discipline. In 6 months of letting my body go, this is what happened, and can happen to some people, right? And it's crazy how quickly the body can change. And those journeys of gaining weight were super humbling, you guys, because I went into this journey thinking, oh yeah, I'll eat some junk food, I'll gain some weight, and then I'll get back to fit. And then, you know, maybe Fox 13 in Utah will pick up my story. At least that's what I thought would happen. And then, you know, Travis mentioned Jay Leno. I didn't know any of that would happen, you guys. I didn't have a marketing strategy. I didn't have like media connections. This all just was, you know, a lot of it was luck. Yeah, I would say a lot of it definitely was luck. I couldn't control that these producers reached out to me. My story went viral online, caught everyone's attention because it was a crazy experiment. Like, who in their right mind would do this on purpose, right? But it was so humbling. It was so much harder than I thought it would be. And this is why it gives me a different perspective on transformation and why I have so much empathy for people who struggle with their weight and who struggle to, you know, maintain weight loss and to be fit. Because it's not as simple as just eating less and working out. Yes, in theory, that's kind of like what needs to happen. We all know that. But why do millions and millions of people struggle to apply that and live that every single day? And I have theories on why that is. And this is why I think empathy is so important. Leading with empathy is so important for me, because there's a good quote that I love by Teddy Roosevelt. And he says, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So as a trainer, as a coach, as a doctor, as whoever, a leader, you could have all the knowledge in the world. But if that person you're trying to help doesn't feel seen or heard or understood or safe with you, all that knowledge, is going up against their defenses and their walls that they have built up over years and decades of programming, where they don't feel like you truly care about them. And I see this in the fitness industry and a bunch of other industries. But that for me is what has changed so much, because this journey was so humbling of gaining all this weight. And then trying to lose it again. I'm gonna exit out of that and just kind of talk to you guys for a little bit. Because for me, that quote, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care, is what I live by now. This is what Fit to Fit is all about. And this is why I'm on a mission to bring more empathy to the fitness industry, because I feel like if people are seen, heard, and understood and feel safe, they're more willing to listen to what you have to say. And this is what I'm trying to bring to the fitness industry. So it's cool to talk about macros and calories and workout programs and supplements, and all of that stuff is important, right? But it's such a smaller piece of the puzzle than I believe people think it is. People think that's like the holy grail. Which diet should I do? What's the right macro split that I should do? What workouts, like Super says, like, what's the magic pill that's going to get me this body? And we're all searching for that. We're all searching for this, secret that's going to somehow magically transform our bodies. And then once we get this body, then society will love us and accept us, and then we'll love ourselves and accept ourselves, and all of our problems magically go away. And I know that's kind of what we're fed. That's the way we've been programmed to think of it, is like, if I go on this journey and I eat less calories and I work out and I get this body, then boom, I'm automatically happier, and then I can finally be happy in this life. But as many of you know, that's not how it works. It's a myth. Just like if I get this much money, then I will, be happy. And even if you get the money, even if you get the body, it's deeper than that. We're all trying to fill this void. We're all trying to fill this hole that exists. And we think, oh, money or fame or body or looks or power or status will fill that void. And this is why transformation is so much deeper than just losing weight. And so we're going to dive into, not just the physical side of transformation, but the mental, emotional, even spiritual side I'll talk about, and how this applies to those other areas of your life. If you truly want to transform and you truly want to do it in a fulfilling way, not in a way that's going to bring you, a temporary form of happiness. Like I think of the movie The Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy, when he just magically creates this potion that makes him lose all the weight, right? There's this period of like, he wants to wear spandex all day, and he just like is loving his body, and it feeds his ego, and he thinks it fills this void, but then you realize that he's miserable in the end, even though he has the perfect body, right? So that's why, like, for me, the psychology behind transformation is what I think people are missing, and what people are lacking, when it comes to health and fitness and losing weight. And it's such a different approach, like this whole, what I call conscious fitness. And Travis talked about being conscious, learning how to be present. The idea of conscious fitness is totally different than just macros and calories, but we'll dive into that in a little bit. But really quickly about my journey, you guys, the interesting thing as I gained the weight was I had a huge identity crisis. I'll be totally honest with you guys. I freaked out. Being overweight for the first time in my life was kind of a mind fuck. I'll say. Hopefully I can cuss on here, because in my mind, my identity was created around my body image. So my body image was my self-image. I was Drew the fit guy for so long that even the first 15 pounds, I felt obese, even just 15 pounds in. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm disgusting. This is horrible. I didn't take my shirt off that first journey in 2011. I wouldn't go to like a pool. I was so self-conscious about my body. I wanted to go up to strangers and explain to them like, hey, I'm not really overweight. This is just an experiment. I promise I don't look like this. Like, I'm normally really healthy. And I remember having to like buy all these, this junk food at the grocery store, and just feeling judged by people like looking at me and like looking at my shopping cart full of like candy bars and sodas and sugary cereals and all the like deliciousness that exists. Which I'll get into in a second, like the types of foods that I ate. But I just remember feeling so uncomfortable for the first time because I think a lot of us, you know, not knowingly, we create an identity around our body image. And this is why so many people who are obese most of their life or overweight most of their life, even when they lose the weight, they still see themselves, their identity is still that overweight person. And this is why a lot of people end up gaining the weight back, like after Biggest Loser or TV shows, 95% gain the weight back. I think it's because their identity is so wrapped up in their body image as their self-image. So if there's one piece of advice I could give you is to learn to detach your body image as your self-image. Your body is a part of you. And yeah, you can control certain aspects about, you know, body composition and losing weight here and there. But eventually that's going to change. Eventually you're going to age, you're going to get wrinkles, you're going to look different. I mean, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a badass, but he's freaking 70 plus years old. You can only do so much, you know, as your body ages. He doesn't look like he did in his prime. It doesn't mean he stopped working out. Age will catch up to you. And so what happens is a lot of people, celebrities, athletes, have these identity crises because they've set up their identity as maybe this, you know, A-list celebrity for so long, but they're not that anymore. Or this, you know, NFL or this like Hall of Fame type, you know, athlete. And now they're not, they've retired. It's like, who am I without this thing? And so the sooner you can learn to distance your self-image from your body image, the happier you're going to be in your life in the long run. And that takes time to learn how to do. Maybe some therapy, maybe some life coaching, maybe some books on learning how to detach your identity is super important. Same thing with other labels that we wear. Like, for example, I'll be totally honest with you guys. I'm a single parent of 2 daughters. And when my daughters were little, like daddy's girls, like princesses, it was like some of the funnest time in my life. And I created an identity around, I'm this girl dad that has these 2, like, you know, perfect daughters that just love me. I'm their hero. And then they become teenagers and then they don't want anything to do with you. And I had for so long created an identity around, like, you know, a girl dad of these 2, you know, cute, innocent little girls. And now that they're teenagers, they don't want anything to do with me. There was a time where I went through like a dark depression because I'm like, what's my purpose now? They don't want me anymore. They don't need me anymore. What is my purpose now in this life? Because I created an identity around this label. And so I've learned through other experiences, not just Fit to Fight to Fit, that sometimes we create these identities, and when that identity stops or you know, life evolves, it can set you up for a huge identity crisis. And that can go with marriage and divorces and bankruptcies and failed businesses and different hats that we wear. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But I think it's important to learn the difference between your body image and your self-image, and realizing that you are more than just your body. You have more to offer this world than just your body composition. One day when you die and you pass on your tombstone, I mean, do you want to be known as the guy that had a 6-pack? Like, that's the legacy you want to leave behind? Or, oh man, he's just ripped and shredded. Maybe that is. And I'm not judging that. I'm just saying, for me, I know that I have a lot more to offer this world and, you know, the next generation than just, oh, Drew had a really good body his whole life. Like, that's cool, but that's not what I want to be known for, you know, moving on. I don't want my girls don't really care what I look like. My daughters aren't like, whoa, dad's like ripped and shredded. That's cool. But at the end of the day, they want to feel loved. They want to feel safe. They want to feel like I showed up for them and made them a priority. So what I'm saying is there's other important things in your life other than just like, getting shredded and having a hot body. It lasts for a while, but it doesn't, for a short while, but it doesn't last forever. Does that make sense? So it doesn't mean I stop taking care of myself. And we'll talk about what that looks like in the long run of how I balance that out today. But anyways, I want to talk about the food really quick that I ate, because this is another important part of why transformation is an uphill battle for a lot of people. You know, in this country, we have it so backwards. We have this system that's set up where if you want to be healthy and you want to be fit and you want to take care of your physical health, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's probably going to be more expensive, and it's probably going to take more of your time and energy. It's an uphill battle if you want that. Like, if you want grass-fed, grass-finished, high-quality meat, pasture raised, free range, chicken and eggs and organic fruits and vegetables, it's going to cost extra. You're going to have to invest more money, and then you pay for supplements, pay for gym membership, all the things. It's going to be an uphill battle. It doesn't mean you can't do it for cheaper. You can, but for the masses, for the majority of people that are on budgets or welfare and they don't have the extra income to pay for those things, I see why people gravitate towards these hyper palatable, highly processed junk foods that are subsidized by the government. And I will be honest with you, these foods taste freaking delicious. I mean, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my jam, you guys. It is so delicious. And I had it almost every single day for 6 months during my journey because that's how delicious it is. Once in the morning and then once at night for a nighttime snack, obviously. And so when I was eating these foods, I gained a better understanding and more empathy for why people emotionally eat and why people get stuck in these vicious cycles. Because here's what happens. When you eat white bread, white pasta, juices, granola bars, chips, cookies, crackers, sugary cereals like Hot Pockets and, Top Ramen and, mac and cheese and all these delicious foods that we have in the grocery stores, 80% of those foods have, these highly processed junk foods or these cheaper ingredients, right? Because a lot of the corn, wheat, and soy are subsidized by the government. So these foods tend to be cheaper, more palatable, right? Hyper palatable to where your brain it gets addicted to these foods really quickly. And these companies spend millions of dollars on food scientists to create the perfect combination of what's the most, what's the perfect amount of crunches of one chip for the brain to become addicted, right? Like how many crunches, how many bites before it gets soggy, is the brain going to be addicted to this one chip? And this is just one specific example of what these companies do to come up with the correct flavor combinations and colors and fonts and like everything that's marketed to us. This is why it's such an uphill battle. And so a lot of us are like go on this journey of like, okay, I'm just going to stop eating that food. Okay, cool. Good strategy. But your kids eat it, your friends eat it, it's at the grocery store, it's on commercials, it's on social media, and everybody's eating these foods and they're, somehow able to, have self-control when they eat these foods. And the problem that we have as most humans is we like to escape our emotional pain. So not only is there a biological component to being addicted to these foods, there's also a psychological component as well, meaning like social, cultural, psychological addiction to these foods as well. Because anytime we experience pain as humans, we don't like to experience it, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. So what we do is we look for ways to escape. We look for ways to numb or distract ourselves from the pain. And a lot of people gravitate towards food because food is legal. It's not illegal. You can go buy it any time of the day. You can DoorDash it any time of the day. It's at restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, everywhere you go, it's in your face. And you can buy it whenever you want to. And the dopamine hit that you get from these foods is similar to the dopamine of other drugs or alcohol, if you will, to where it numbs the emotions of life. And this is why people become alcoholics or drug addicts or food addicts, is because maybe from a young age, we started to feel uncomfortable emotions, or we went through some traumas or abuses or challenging emotions. And instead of facing the pain, we do distract ourselves from the pain. We would numb the pain. And there's a good quote by Rumi who says, the cure for pain is in the pain. The cure for pain is in the pain. And so instead of running away from it, distracting yourselves from it, numbing out on food, drugs, or alcohol, or porn, or sex, or social media, or work, or all different types of ways of escaping, you face the pain, you turn it into it, you face it, you let it teach you something. Pain is a teacher. Pain is there to teach you something. But the path of least resistance is just to ignore it, numb it, suppress it, distract yourselves from it. And food is a great way of doing that, right? You can eat your emotions when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're lonely, when you're angry. And so a lot of people gravitate towards food as their, drug of choice. And food addiction is kind of like, you know, taboo. It's kind of swept under the rug. It's not that big of a deal. But if you do heroin or cocaine, you're an outcast. Yeah, or if you're an alcoholic, it's like, get away from me, right? But if you do the same thing with food, it's looked at, it's been normalized. And this is why I have so much empathy. So if you have been struggling with food addiction or emotional eating, or you self-sabotage through food, and that started at a young age, and you've been doing this for years and decades, where you get stressed out with the kids, you get stressed out with finances, you get in a fight with your spouse, whatever the issue is, and instead of facing the pain, you go and distract yourself from it with just stuffing your face, you know, or drinking alcohol, or, you know, doing drugs to run away from the pain of life. And then all of a sudden, 20 years later, you're like, all right, this is my year. I'm just going to like cut it out completely. That's like a drug addict being like, okay, I'm just going to willpower my way out of this. And we have so much compassion and empathy for drug addicts. But when it comes to food addicts, we just look at people as lazy. Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just overcome this? Like, you just do it, right? That was the old version of me until I did Fit to Back to Fit, ate these foods for 6 months, and then try to get off of those foods and try to, like, you know, willpower my way back into eating healthy. And for me, I was able to do that because, you know, obviously only eating that way for 6 months didn't develop an addiction. But what happened was very surprising. The first 2 weeks of going back from eating, you know, Cinnamon Toast Crunch and mac and cheese and, you know, all the good stuff for 6 months, and then going to eating chicken and broccoli and kale salads, it sucked balls. It sucked so bad. The first 2 weeks, my body even fought back against me. My body wanted to go back to the high that it had gotten from these foods for the past 6 months. And it was weird that me as a trainer, a proponent of health, was feeling my body going through these withdrawal symptoms, where even I had to struggle with cravings and like my willpower being challenged every single day, because my body was adjusting to eating healthy food again. And the food didn't taste as good. I was grumpy, I was moody, I was starving all the time. I didn't feel satiated yet. I didn't feel healthy or energetic when eating those foods. I thought, oh man, day one, I got a green smoothie for breakfast. I got chicken and broccoli for lunch and huge kale salad with salmon on top for dinner. Like, I'm going to feel great. And no, I felt miserable. And that's where it clicked for me. Like, oh, this is what my clients tell me when I give them a meal plan and they've been eating, you know, not healthy food for like 6 years, maybe not just 6 months. And they're just like, okay, we'll power the way through it. And after like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they get into some soda or some junk food. I'm like, why didn't you just stick with it? Like, why I couldn't understand it until I did this journey and gained that empathy of, oh, I see now why people escape. I see now why people get addicted. And so there's a really good book that I recommend to you guys by Benjamin Hardy, Hardy. It's called Willpower Doesn't Work. And it's a great book. He makes a case for why, if you rely just on your willpower alone, good luck. Unless you're a David Goggins and you can just, like, you know, mind over matter, like just push through it. That's awesome if you can do that. But let's be honest, most of the population can't just willpower the way out of an addiction, because it's been so programmed into your subconscious mind for years and decades that that's what your brain knows how to do. That's how your brain has, it's just like Travis talked about, it's a survival mechanism where instead of facing the pain, it's too much to deal with the pain. Let's just escape through this food. Let's just escape through this mechanism, whatever it is, and do that again and again and again and again, and then just try and stop that. It's already been built into your subconscious programming to where your mind is already pushing towards it. It's like, we know what to do in this situation. We got into a fight with our spouse. We're feeling this way. We're feeling these emotions come up. We're just gonna, you know, do what we always do. And then people stuff their face with Oreos and pizza, and then they guilt and shame themselves afterwards. Like, what's wrong with me? I'm a failure. I can't do it. I you know, they try and control the situation, but they can't. And this is where I have so much empathy for people that get stuck there. Because, like, you could yell at them and shame them all you want. It doesn't matter. They've already done that to themselves. They've already shamed themselves worse than anyone will ever shame them. And that's why I believe that the core cause of why people struggle is an issue of self-worth, is an issue of worthiness, is an issue of self-love. Because as men, a lot of us are, you know, here are men, but like, we weren't given good examples of how self-love works. We think, oh, to be vulnerable, that's soft. Like, that's that's a weakness. Like, you don't show vulnerability. You don't talk about emotions. You don't cry. You don't do that. Like, we've been programmed not to do that. So instead we suppress. And, you know, a lot of women too do this, where they just distract from feeling that way. And you do that time and time again. It's so hard to break that cycle. And this is why I believe, with my conscious fitness approach, learning how to love yourself and find that worthiness within is the key to long lasting, fulfilling transformation. Because if you learn to fall in love with yourself and you start to believe that you're worthy of good physical health, good mental health, good spiritual health, and good financial health, when you start to believe those things, you start to show up differently for yourself. How you treat your body, how you talk to your body, how you treat others. You show up differently when you start to love yourself. And I believe that's the catalyst for change for a lot of us. The problem is that we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to start to love ourselves, because, it has to be an inside job. Our spouse, our loved ones, they can't convince us that we're lovable. You have to believe that you're lovable. And once you believe that you're lovable, and it might take time, it might take years of therapy to figure out that you are lovable. It took me until I was 34 years old. I had a life coach out there in Salt Lake City, Utah. Her name's Catherine Dixon, if anyone wants her information. She was the first person that convinced me, despite all the mistakes that I had made. I was in a rock bottom moment. I just went through my divorce. I just left my religion. I was like, I need to figure out who I am. I don't know who I am anymore. She was the first person that really showed me that maybe I am still lovable. Maybe I am still worthy. And that's where things started to shift for me on a personal level, where I started to do the inner work. I started working in on top of working out, instead of working out to hopefully fill this void. Like, if I just get shredded, then all my problems will go away and then I'll be happy. I wish that were the case. But working in on top of working out is the magic sauce, because doing the work, the inner work, is where you start to develop that self-love and that worthiness that maybe you weren't taught as a kid. Maybe you didn't believe you were worthy of love. Maybe you did something that's like, I'm not worthy of this. But when you start to show up every day and believe that you're worthy, you're going to treat your body. You want to treat your body with kindness. You're going to want to get 8 hours of sleep. You're going to want to focus on healthy food, because at the end of the day, you realize that actually makes me feel better. When I take care of my physical health, I'm a better human, a better mom, I'm a better dad, I'm a better business owner. When I manage my stress and I learn how to regulate my nervous system, and I eat real food, and I move my body every single day, whether it's yoga, Pilates, running, swimming, biking, CrossFit, gym, like lifting weights, whatever it is for you, movement, healthy food, like real food, stress management, and sleep. Those are the 4 pillars of health that will take care of your physical health, that will make mental health so much easier. I'm not saying it cures depression if you do those things, but if you're not doing those things and just hoping to be better mentally, it's going to be that much harder. If you don't have your physical health, sure, you can grind and hustle for a season or two. You can use self-hate as fuel to push yourself for a season or two, but it doesn't last forever. You have to find a different way of, how can I show up for myself every single day and start to fall in love with the process? And this is my theory, you guys. If you can fall in love with the process, the results will take care of themselves over time. Why? Because you're going to show up for yourself every single day. How do I want to treat my body today? And you fall in love with the process of eating healthy food and exercising. And then you're not doing it for the results. The results, at the end of the day, don't bring you the happiness, you guys. But if you fall in love with the process, while you're falling in love with yourself, that's where you can stay consistent and disciplined forever, because you start to realize that it's an inside job. The worthiness is there. The self-love is there. And this is where things change for the better, for the long run, where you don't have to do a diet for 30 days or 90 days. You show up for yourself every single day. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you're not human. You still have those moments of self-sabotage or emotionally eating. But the key to overcome emotional eating or self-sabotage or any kind of addiction is self-awareness. And there's a good quote by Anthony DeMello. He says, what you're aware of, you're in control of. And what you're not aware of is in control of you. What you're aware of, you're in control of, and what you're not aware of is in control of you. And it's like that Carl Jung quote, you know, until you make the subconscious conscious. So, oh shoot, I always butcher this one. Until you make the subconscious conscious, you will live your life and call it fate, something along those lines. Where until you make the subconscious, until you bring that subconscious programming into the conscious mind, and you start to become aware of why you do what you do and why you react the way you react, then and only then can you start to control that behavior or change how you react. So that in those moments of being triggered, the old version of you would just react, grab the alcohol, grab the cake or the ice cream and just eat away and numb your emotions. Now, with self-awareness, as you become more self-aware, you become the observer of your thoughts. So as that emotion comes up or the trigger happens, you're getting into a fight with your spouse or you're struggling financially, your kids are driving you crazy. That trigger happens, the emotions are boiling, they're coming to the surface, and you want to react. You can take a few deep breaths through your nose, slow your breathing down, observe what's happening, observe the scenery, observe the emotions that are coming up, the feelings, and you're just observing. You're not reacting. You can feel the pull towards the self-sabotage, drug of choice. And in that moment, you could say, okay, do I want to go down this path that I've been going down the past 2-3 decades? Or can I create a new neural pathway in my brain to create a different way to cope with these emotions? Maybe instead I'm going to go for a walk today, or maybe I'm going to do a breathwork session, or maybe I'm going to go for a run or something. I'm going to meditate, something to cope with that pain, turn towards the pain instead of numbing via pain. And that's kind of where self-awareness starts to develop, maybe some self-compassion, some self-love. And then you start to realize, no, I'm not going to self-sabotage today. I've done that, and I'm not going to do that this time. And then you start to be more in control of how you react. So self-awareness is the key to overcoming any kind of addiction or emotional eating or self-sabotage. But it takes time. Like even for me, I still have moments of self-sabotage. Like it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It just means it has less of a hold on you. So like, let's say I do react and I am like, man, I need to work on this. And I react and I reach for the food and I know what I'm doing. I'm like, here we go. I'm going down this path again. And then afterwards, it's like, all right, what can I learn from this? Instead of like, damn it, I hate myself. I'm going to beat myself up until I'm perfect next time. And this is coming from someone who used self-hate for the first 30 plus years of my life. And it helped me to discipline myself to do hard things. Now my fuel is self-love to do just as hard things like cold plunge, sauna, running 100 miles, CrossFit competitions, fit to fat to fit 2.0. I like to challenge myself, but not from a place of self-hate anymore, but from a place of self-love. And I think self-love can be just as motivating to do the hard things, because you still have to do the hard things, you guys. If you love yourself, that doesn't mean you're going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to work out anymore. I don't want to do anything hard because I love myself. That's not self-love. Self-love is realizing that you're worthy of what the hard things will bring into your life, what the hard and comfortable things will do for you in the long run. And that's true self-love. So a lot of people think, oh, if I love myself, then I'm not going to do anything hard anymore. And that's not how it works. Like when you love yourself, you want to show up for yourself. You want to give yourself good physical health, mental health, spiritual health, financial health. So this is why my conscious fitness approach is a little bit different. It's a little bit unique. It's not your typical, just push yourself and discipline yourself and beat yourself up and just use your willpower to to show up and be a man. Like that's cool and that can work for some people, but a lot of people realize well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be like David Goggins? Like I must be a reject or a failure then if I can't do that. And I think this approach is definitely more fulfilling, and it leads to long-term lasting transformation. So anyways, I want to pause there because this is a lot of explaining, and I really want to open this up to conversation and questions because this is a very important part of the transformation process. And I really want to go deep in with you guys of okay, what does this mean for you? What does this look like for you? Right? So let's open up to questions and comments and concerns.
What questions do we have, guys? One of the things that is maybe people are thinking about questions, one thing that I want to bring up that I really talk a lot about with people is understanding that it's a chemical equation inside your body and how important it is to test your blood and your hormones. What's been your journey in that? When did you start? How often do you do it? Who do you work with? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, like hormones, stuff like that,
Mhm.
blood work.
Yep.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of companies over the years. I'm 43 years old. It's definitely something that I value. I love this quote or this idea from Tim Ferriss. He says, if you're checking your oil more than you're getting blood work done, then you probably are going to run into a problem at some point. So you definitely need to make it a priority when it comes to physical health, getting blood work done, because if you're not tracking those kinds of things and you're just kind of like playing darts in the dark. So measuring blood markers are really important. I have recently been working with a company called Blokes, Blokes, for men, and then the women's version is Joi Wellness, I think is what it's called for women. And that just kind of helps with your hormone levels. It's a telehealth appointment. They do in-home testing, whether it's like a test kit you do yourself, or they can do mobile blood work where they send a nurse to your house and they just draw blood at your house. But I think doing that once every 6 months is probably close to ideal or optimal if you have the budget for it. That's the thing. It's like this is another uphill battle. It's like it's going to cost you probably a few $100 to maybe upwards of like $1,000 a month if you want to get on peptides and hormone replacement therapy, and if you feel like that's for you. But I think just knowing where certain blood markers are is really important, because at the end of the day, like, you don't really know what you don't know. And so if you do this diet or that diet and you're like, oh, I feel good. Like, for example, there was a time where I was doing CrossFit 6 days a week. I looked good on the outside, but my testosterone was under 200.
Whoa.
So, was I optimal? Probably not. I had no libido, but I looked great. I looked shredded on the outside. So this is why it's important to know what's happening on the inside as much as what's happening on the outside.
Hey, I have a question on your process. You're talking about process a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what your schedule is like getting in your workouts or getting in your steps.
Yeah, that's a really good question. For me, I'm a morning workout person where if I don't get it done in the morning, by the end of the work day, my brain is so depleted that it's hard to go and push myself in the gym like at 4:35 at night, because if you're a business owner and you have kids, you give a lot of mental energy to those things. And then if you go and try and show up for yourself at the end of the day, for me, I've realized that it's just there's not a lot left in the tank at that time. I'm not saying that works for everyone, but for me, if I can wake up early, I'd rather go to bed early and wake up early to get it done. Helps me, fit it in. But there are some days, you guys, where I'm like, all right, I don't have time for a workout. I could do something at home or just go for a walk, and just any kind of movement is going to be beneficial, not just for your physical health, but for your mental health. Now, if you have goals of like aesthetically, I want to, step on stage and look like this, you can only do so much. Like if you can only have time for like a 10-minute walk every day, you're probably not going to get shredded or ripped from that. But is it good for your mental health? Yes. Are you burning a little bit of calories from the walk? Yes. There's a lot of health benefits to it, but it just depends on what your overall goals are. But does that answer your question, or do you have more specific questions about that?
No, I mean, you're a morning workout guy. Do you go at the same time?
I try to. I'll admit, summertime with no schedule is a little bit harder, because sometimes my girls have sleepovers or they have friends over, or they want to go here or there. It's all relative. And
You
being
still make it in. You
What's
still
that?
make it to the gym?
They're still what?
You find a way to make it into the gym regardless. It's like
100%. For me, that's kind of like I've been doing it for so long that it's kind of it's a part of me. It really is. It does become a part of you over time if you can fall in love with the process.
I have a question.
Yes.
I am Flory. My question is, as now that you're older, has your routine changed? Does it changes every single, like, as you have, age, basically? Like, have you noticed like other things that didn't work? Now you have to adjust to your age, or is it part of our electricity, you know, like it doesn't go back to where it should be?
That's a good question. The biggest thing I've noticed with age is I have to make time for stretching now. If I don't stretch almost every single day and I'm sitting down like on Zoom calls like this, my hips get tight, my lower back gets tight, my, my muscles get tight. Like I have to make time for stretching as I get older, because I do work out my body pretty hard still. But I have to make time for recovery. And that's the biggest thing I've noticed, being in my 40s now, is making time for recovery. Whereas like in my 20s, dude, I could go do the hardest workout and then go sit on the couch and like eat and play video games and then be ready to go the next day with no back pain or hip pain. And now I'm like, all right. And then also like there's seasons that I go through, like, at the end of last year, I went through a running season where I focused on marathon training, and I did a marathon and I got skinnier. I lost a little bit of muscle mass. And then come January, it was more of like a bulking season. For 3 months, I like put on muscle. And right now I'm doing paddling. I'm in the middle of a paddling season. So I'm on a paddling team, 6-man canoe out here in Hawaii. And that's a different type of cardio. And then after that, we'll see. I might get back into running again. I like to go through cycles where I'm not just doing curls and bench press all day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When you went through those couple of cycles of going through the fat to fit to fat, right? How intense were you coming back into, like, because not working out for 6 months, it's hard to get back into some of those kinds of things, but how intense were you coming back into that?
Good question. So here's my honest, and you could go look at my workout program, because a lot of people are like, oh, dude, you're just going to work out 3 times a day and, you have all day to work out. I worked out 5 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday were resistance training days where I would do supersets. So I would do like chest and back on Monday, legs and shoulders on Wednesday, thighs and tries on Friday. My workouts were about 45 minutes long on average. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays were cardio days. Like one day would be HIIT cardio, like maybe 30 minutes of like 30-second sprint, 30-second recovery for 30 rounds. That's 30 minutes of high intensity interval training. And then maybe Thursday was like a zone 2 cardio day, just slow, long distance for about 45 minutes. Saturday and Sunday were active recovery days. I didn't add in any extra workouts those days. It was, yard work or hiking or playing with my kids. And honestly, that's the strategy I use when it comes to exercise. The key for me losing the weight was more so about, I would say, nutrition and staying consistent with my nutrition. That's where you're going to get most of the results. It's not so much how hard you work out in the gym. I think it's more has to do with consistency in the nutrition, which I was on about a 2,000 calorie diet. The first time was more of like a paleo-ish approach with like 6 small meals per day. And then the second time in 2020 was more keto intermittent fasting approach. And both can work.
Cool.
I lost weight, both of those methods, they both work as far as weight loss goes.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
If I can, I just want to express a little gratitude. I had my teenage sons in here and wanted to make sure that they heard everything. I especially loved what you said about challenge yourself to do hard things through self-love, not through self-hate or loathing. I really loved that, and it resonated with me. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I wish I would have learned that as a teenager. I didn't know what self-love was. I was like, no one even utter those words ever, like in my life, playing football and wrestling, right? But anyways, I'm grateful that I eventually did. So I'm glad that your teenage sons were able to listen to that.
Yeah, your story resonated very strongly with me. Very similar. Thank you.
So Drew, I have in the last couple of years started to open up to the idea of intermittent fasting. Who would you recommend that for? How would you, it's not something you immediately get into it. What are some like good techniques or ways to like start into that? And what has that looked like with you? Even though you are at the shape that you want, like what would you recommend for some people in that process?
Yeah. So if you've never done intermittent fasting, this is my approach to getting started with it. Usually I have people for the first week do a 12-12 split. So 12 hours on, 12 hours off, which is very simple. We already almost kind of do that. So if you eat dinner, if you stop eating at 7 p.m., you don't eat again until 7 a.m. That's not too hard. I think that's doable for most people, but no calories between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. And you do that for a week. And then from there, you go to 14-10. So 14 hours, no eating, 10-hour eating window. So you reduced it by 2 hours, right? And then you do that for a week. And then you eventually go to a 16-8, which is pretty standard for most people. And you do that for another week. And then the fourth week, you switch to a 18-6 if you want to get like more strict with it. It's great for people that want to lose weight, want to lose fat. I think it's a great strategy. It's not a magic pill. It's not a magic bullet, because it has to lead to a caloric deficit, but it's a little bit easier to lead to a caloric deficit when you skip a whole meal, right? And you don't eat till noon and your cutoff window is like 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. The hard part that I will say about the intermittent fasting approach is if you're trying to get in like 200 grams of protein and you're only eating 2 meals per day, it's really hard to eat 100 grams of protein in one sitting. Have any of you tried to eat 100 grams of chicken? It's not the tastiest, easiest thing to do. You're so full so quick. So that's the only downside to intermittent fasting is if you have a minimum protein requirement, it can be a little bit harder. But I think for busy entrepreneurs that just don't have time to eat, like I still, my default mode now with where I eat today is not strict intermittent fasting. I add about 30 grams of whey protein and 10 grams of collagen protein to my coffee every morning. So that's not strict intermittent fasting, but that's my breakfast, if you will. And then I don't eat again until lunch because you're pretty satiated from that coffee protein mix. And then, eat lunch, maybe have a snack and then dinner. And that's kind of how I eat nowadays. But like when I'm traveling, it's a great way to kind of like stay in shape while you're traveling, vacationing, just to have like an eating window. So that's kind of what I would recommend for anyone that's busy, that just doesn't have time. Because here's what you realize. If any of you have ever done an extended fast, 24 hours plus or 48 hours or I've done 7 days before, you realize how much time is spent making food, eating food, cleaning up. And when you don't eat, you're like, man, I have so much more time throughout the day to get work done, to get, if you're a busy entrepreneur. So I think there is some strategy there. If you're trying to lose weight and run a successful business, an intermittent fasting approach can be great just because you're in a mild state of ketosis. And I will say this about the keto diet. Your brain on ketones is something that I think everyone needs to experience at some point in their life. Meaning it's not better than or worse than. It's a cool feeling to feel what it's like for your brain to be running off ketones versus glucose, where you don't have these crashes, where you feel like you can go 6 hours, 8 hours, no food, your brain feels optimal, you're not starving, you don't have these hunger pangs that tend to happen when you eat a lot of glucose or carbohydrates. You have to refuel every 2 or 3 hours for the most part. So I will say that about keto. I don't think it's like, once again, a magic bullet. I don't think it's better than. It's a tool in your tool belt of multiple tools that you can use to help you on your journey. But I wrote a book on keto called Complete Keto. And I think it's still a great tool to have in your tool belt.
Love it. Cool. Well, appreciate Drew. Hey, how do we so follow his Instagram, fit fat to fit with the number 2 FIT 2 fat to fit. Hey, Drew coming on here. We go ahead.
Oh, do you mind if I just mention really quick, if anyone's interested? So I live here in Hawaii, and I host a conscious fitness retreat here in Hawaii for 5 days. And I have one coming up in August. There's only one spot left for that. It just opened up. And then if you want to come and, have an in-person experience, the next one's in October. If you want to check that out, it's a conscious fitness retreat where we go over all these tactics and strategies that I mentioned here, while also enjoying the beauty of the island. We'll do cold plunge, we'll do sauna, we'll do meditation, we'll do breath work, but also go on some amazing hikes. We'll swim with the manta rays at nighttime. And if you want to learn more about this conscious fitness approach, that's something that I have coming up. If anyone's interested, there's no pressure. Obviously, it's like a higher ticket sale. It's not like cheap, but if you're looking to dive deeper into this conscious fitness approach, I do host 2 retreats per year out here.
Love it. And I do need to testify on behalf of Drew. He took me through a breathwork session, was incredible.
Yeah.
The way he facilitated it was beautiful. He held really good space. So I know you know someone in your life that Drew can really help on a big level. He's going to be here at Brand X September 6th and 7th. Super excited to see you in person. It feels like it's been forever since I've seen you in person, man.
No, it has been a while. Looking forward to it though.
Yeah. So I want to show just a quick replay of that event. It just keeps getting bigger. We're still looking for people that would want to be in the booth section at the expo. So we're looking B2B businesses. We still do have some speaking slots open. So if you know anyone that has an amazing message or would love to get you connected with them, I just want to show you guys a quick video of this event, of this firepower. Every time I watch this video, I'm just like, it just pumps me up. So I want to show it to you guys real quick. And I have to self-brag for a second. I actually put it together. So I took everyone's videos and put it together. So hope you guys enjoy it. Oh, there's no audio. Timeout. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Josh, I know you wanted to talk here real quick. Bullfit is going to be the main sponsor at Brand X. Love their supplements. I'm actually drinking it right now, buddy. Every single afternoon, I'm drinking my Bullfit in the morning. Do you want to talk a little bit about your journey in Bullfit and getting started there?
Yeah, it's delicious, by the way. Also, second that.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's really hard. Sometimes it's really hard to get to the gym, and you're gonna want a pre-workout before you step into the gym. I usually hit my pre-workout right in the parking lot because it takes a lot of motivation to get your butt into the gym. And we hear it a lot. We hear process from Travis. We heard process from Drew Manning. And I think it's essential. That's why I take Bodacious every day. My pre-workout, how we started is we noticed a lot of pre-workouts were making people sick, or they weren't giving the full results that they wanted while working out. Maybe they skipped out on some ingredients, and we wanted one that had no bullshit and just, got you through the greatest workout you're going to have, and then also make you feel really great afterwards. So we incorporated a nootropic blend in Bodacious, which kind of makes you feel a little bit like Bradley Cooper on the movie Limitless. Has anybody ever seen that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a lot of shit done and kicks some Russian dude's butt at the end. So ours is very clean. Drew, talks a lot about eating clean and putting clean things in your body. And it is kind of crazy when you get really deep into this game of the supplement industry about how many people are just not caring so much about what's going into your body. We do ours through an FDA registered facility, and it's also third party tested. So after everything's said and done, once we get these bottles completely done, it goes back to a tester and he makes sure everything is as pure as possible. And we have a competitor of ours that just got hit for having lead in their pre-workout. So raise the hands, who wants lead in their pre-workout? Okay, good. I don't want lead in mine either. It's not what I'm up for. I'm looking for a good pump and a lot of energy. So they're going through that right now. audience engagement for us, how we're starting to, become relevant is we have hooked up with a really good media company off the get-go. And the media company is called Tyson Media. They're excellent. Just wanted to touch on how you can make your brand bigger in the quickest amount of time as possible. We decided to start a podcast and really throw everything at it. We wanted the best podcast there is, and I will put ours against any podcast, even though we're a Kickstarter. It's next level. We have a full production crew, and that helps a lot. So we do have Todd the pharmacist. This guy has a doctorate in pharmacology, and he's super jacked. He knows what he's talking about. I met him at Lifetime a year before we started. And literally the way I met him, I was like, oh, hey, how's your workout going? Like, how's it going? He seems like a dad, said hi, and then said, oh, how's your workout going? And he said, great, I see you around here all the time. What's your name? I'm like, Joshua Dale Graves. I gave him my full name. And then I'm like, what's your name? He said Raymond Todd Linsky. I'm like, okay, that's funny. We both have redneck names, middle names. And I use that in the back of my head because when we started the company, I'm like, how cool would it be to have Todd a part of the company? Anybody that's a part of the company is an investor. They have invested in our company. They have skin in the game. So I didn't know Todd great, but I see him all the time at the gym and we talk here and there. Anyways, I went up to him and told him what we're doing, and I got him to commit to put his seal of approval on all of our pre-workouts. So we got a pharmacist that has a doctorate, and his seal of approval is Todd the pharmacist. And this is a name I created for him. Nobody cares about Raymond the pharmacist, but people will get down with a redneck pharmacist that's jacked. And, doing these fun things like the podcast, we have skits that we're doing now. They're full production skits, where I just filmed on Monday where I'm completely silent when I run. Like I make no sound at all. And we tie it into Bodacious at the end. But getting our content has been really, really big. So the reason why I mentioned the content part is because we launched officially in January, and we just yesterday had a call with GNC, and GNC reached out to us. We've been emailing them back and forth, finally got on the meeting. We actually got on one meeting call a week ago and then finalized everything yesterday. So GNC is like the biggest, baddest distributor there is in supplements, and they are so cool. They're super nice. They love our product, and they reached out to us. They found us on social media. And I'm just kind of blown away at this moment because we haven't even told anybody. You guys know this firsthand besides people that are inside of our organization. But yeah, we're dropping, what they do is they pilot 80 stores at first, and they put them in locations where it's close to a college or gyms, and they're putting us front and center. They love what we're doing, and they only love us because of these silly videos that we do, the podcasts that we do. And then they look into our ingredients and said, okay, these guys really nailed it down with the ingredients. We don't have any sucralose in our pre-workout. Sucralose has been found to cause DNA damage and cancer. Cancer is bad. We don't want cancer. We have thermatin and allulose, which are both natural sweeteners. So yeah, we just really took a stand on that. So with natural products, so no artificial flavoring, no artificial sweeteners, and no artificial coloring. Our Bodacious is blue. We actually use a superfruit called Splendini. So these are all good things for your brain and your muscles. We do have the exact amount you need to make sure that your workout goes well. That means you have a 6,000 L-citrulline, 3.2 beta-alanine. You have creatine at 5 grams. So everybody that we researched on our R&D, everybody was really scared about creatine, it seemed like. And if anybody had it, they had less than the serving size. We went ahead and put 5 grams. That's your serving size for creatine. That helps with your bum, getting plump if you're a lady. That's always really nice. And then it helps a ton. It injects water into your muscles, which is going to make it so you have higher endurance and are better with those explosive workouts. L-citrulline converts to nitric oxide. That's where you get that real vascular look and that super pump. It's the fastest way of converting to nitric oxide. So we got that in there. We have the exact dose that you need. We're not overstimulating you at 250 milligrams of caffeine. This really hits it on the sweet spot. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have a code for 50% off all of our product. You're definitely going to want to utilize it, and you want to utilize the code before 8 p.m. tomorrow. That's when the code is invalid. And the code is brand X50.
Yeah. Seriously though, guys, I drink it every day. I don't get crashes. I've had some monster crashes with some other stuff in the past. It tastes really good. And yeah, you're trying to find that sweet spot between it's good for you and tasting good. I really do, Josh. I love it. Every time I see him, I was like, dude, you got another some stuff for me?
Yeah,
So,
another week. We gotta give you another shaker bottle, dude. We got our shaker bottles, and you keep bringing up that shaker bottle, but it's not ours. I
do have it. I do drink it as well. So
I'll get you some more, brother.
okay, appreciate you. So Josh is going to be a brand X with his whole squad. But I would second that. His podcast was probably one of the coolest podcasts I've ever been in. Super cool setup. So make sure you check out that. But I got the video working, so I want to show this real quick and talk to you guys about an opportunity for those who are really wanting to take their business and brand to the next level here in the next year. So I want to show you guys a quick video, and then just talk about the opportunity. And maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's for someone that you know that'd be a good fit for. Calendars, guys, September 6th and 7th. I've been to a lot of events over the years, and I love them. I always feel like I meet amazing people. I always go to the next level of my business. in the grand scheme of business, it's very easy to lose that drive and lose that inspiration. You should absolutely be going to events, in my opinion, every 3 to 4 months. So it's September 6th and 7th. It is an experience. It is going to be unlike anything you have. You're going to learn how to build your brand. You're going to be around other brand leaders. The partnership and collaborations opportunities are going to be like anything you've ever been to in your entire life. Okay. And then also there's going to be opportunities for you to get social media, pictures, videos. So utilize at the event. So I'm really pumped for everyone that's going to be a part of it. So I want to throw out a special deal for you guys, for everyone that's on here. Okay. So the website is brandxexpo.com. We're going to be adding more speakers. Okay. If you go to sign up for the tickets, okay, you're going to see that our highest level ticket is $4,750. Okay, that's for the VIP lunch. That's for VIP sitting. That is for the after party. Okay, and that is way cheaper than stuff I've paid for. I just went to Keaton Hoskins' event. He charges $15,000 for all of that. Okay, so for being on here today, okay, I'm going to offer 2 deals. Okay, the first one is I'm going to offer that exclusive ticket offer, $997 for the entire thing. Okay, that includes the VIP lunch, the after party, and those are going to be able to be with the speakers, all the sponsors. Or, okay, I'm going to offer a ticket for $97 to come to the event. If that's something you're interested in, okay, text me. And this will also apply to the people going back and watching the replay. Okay, text me at 801-550-2779. Okay, there won't be a better deal that I offer for that. Okay, 801-550-2779. So I'll drop it below in the chat. Okay, so if you want that opportunity, that will be for today only. Okay, we are having more master classes. Keaton Hoskins is coming up. Sam Taggers is coming up. Carlos Reyes, Heath Treasure. So we still got a lot of master classes leading up to the event. Oh, one more thing I forgot. If you sign up for that, you also get the pre-party at my house August 3rd as well. And that will be kind of a pre-party event. So there's going to be tons of opportunities. So again, text me if you know anyone else that would be interested in this opportunity. Feel free to reach out to them. Okay, so that's only for the people that are on here that know about that. Thanks for being on here today, guys. It was awesome. Appreciate Drew for being on here. Josh and all the sponsors. Again, we're looking for speakers. We're looking for B2B owners that are wanting to get their business out there. Brand apparel would be a great fit. Dentist. We're still looking for a gym. We're looking for someone that does, products and book printing. So there's tons of opportunities available. I know you know someone, get them connected with me. I'd really appreciate that. This event for us was about bringing people like you together to get more connections. Community is bigger than ever before, and we're all in this together. We're all a part of each other's team. And so I appreciate you for being a part of my team and my family, and really appreciate your support. So stay in contact with me as well. It's Travis Brady Brands, all one word. Okay. Travis Brady Brands. Make sure you're following Drew Manning. Okay. Appreciate you guys being on here, and have a great rest of the day. We'll talk soon.